And I think that's a huge problem because it's like you have to get back to the simplicity of just meeting someone and getting to know someone
going before out for coffee or something.
Right, before wanting this elaborate stuff. What's up, real ones? Welcome back to the Relationship Podcast, where we're bringing the real back to relationships.
Yes, sir.
I'm Asha Steele.
I'm Devin Steele.
And we're so excited that you guys are tuning in today.
Yeah, because we got another great episode for y'all. So
yes, back to back
weeks. I say that every time.
I was about to say that might as well be a part of the intro.
I mean, it's like to me, it's like the Breakfast Club. They always be like, we got a special guest. Not all of them be special. And I'm not taking away from it because we all special in the eyes of our mamas.
I can't.
But not all of them are special. Well, special in the way in which they're saying that they're special. So every episode is good as every guest is special.
You're right.
All right, then.
No, ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong.
You don't believe
always have another great episode.
Okay.
So, it ain't nothing wrong with it. I just said,
as long as we believe it.
Throw it in the intro. You feel me?
We're speaking it into existence. And if it's not good, we'll press delete and start all over again.
Yes, you guys. But we're excited for this episode because it's something that I feel like it's been a discussion that we had among several friends that we had.
Oh, you just want to call them out like that?
Well, I'm just saying, several friends, people that we know.
Yeah, but this episode is about being single and struggling to find somebody. So you just going to put them all out there that they out here struggling?
I'm not naming no names, but we have family, friends, cousins, aunties, uncles, people, whoever. Man. Everybody, a lot of people are dealing with it right now. So I think it would be an exciting episode. But before we get into that, you guys, we want to make a few announcements. One, if y'all haven't already seen from last podcast episode or heard, go check out our new merch, our new shirts that we have. Y'all have to check it out. Purchase them, support y'all. I feel like I said before, this shirt I love the simplicity.
Which one?
Our newest shirt.
Okay.
I love the simplicity of like the logo on the front and the words on the back. I think it's
the powerful message on the back.
Yes, the powerful message on the back. But I think it's a very simple, but like you said, powerful shirt that's going to make a huge difference in so many people's lives. You wear it, it's going to set the tone. It's going to set the precedence. Like, yeah, this is what it is. Like, love will prevail against all odds. So,
and if y'all at the Chappelle show this weekend, y'all going to see us rocking it. Because we there. If y'all in Houston, y'all going to the Chappelle show, we will be there rocking our new shirt. So don't try to buy it from us there because,
listen, not only that, don't try to buy it because we don't got it on hand right with us, right? We can't pull it out.
No, we got it in the trunk. We selling these shirts out the trunk. What are you talking about?
No. But if y'all see us, okay, y'all make sure y'all speak. Because I don't know how many times we got been out and people have saw us out. Don't say nothing until we leave and be like, send you a message or a DM like, oh, I just saw y'all. Da, da, da. So it's like y'all watching, but y'all not speaking. If y'all see me speak, so I know that y'all see me.
I'm still in that for the keep it real moment. What? So before we even finish all the announcements, the keep it real moment, I do not like that at all.
Listen, it's awkward.
We are the most down to earth people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like talking to people. I like getting to know people. I'm not like one of those people where it's like, put me in a separate room, put me in the back room. I don't want to be around people. Like, no, I like being amongst people. But I think that sometimes people who have the status that we have, they come off wrong. So people don't like to approach them or talk to them. And I get it a lot, whether I'm on a plane, I'm in the airport, I'm at a restaurant where I will think that nobody knows me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not going to say that I let my guard down, but I just be like, nobody know me. Like nobody going to be, all staring at me and stuff like that.
Right.
But then I'll get home or I'll leave and I'll go on Twitter or I'll look on Instagram and it'd be like DM saying, man, I just saw you was out, but I ain't want to come bother you. This, that, and the third. And I just be like, yo, y'all got to say something. I have no problem with people walking up to me, talking to me, because what if I'm like doing some weird stuff and I think nobody know me, but people do know me.
Mm-hmm.
So please, if you see us out, speak. It happens in the grocery store all the time. Somebody walked up to us in the grocery store the other day, was like, hey, I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like that type of stuff. Like, speak to me. Yeah. Because y'all support us so much, right? We interact on social media. We interact on a podcast that I think it's weird for us not to talk to you in person.
Right.
Like, if you're a part of this community, talk to us. We will talk back. I promise you.
Just a little hello. How you doing? Man, you enjoying the show?
I promise you.
But yes, you guys. So, that was your keeping it real moment?
That's my keeping it real moment.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it real with y'all too, right? Because I had some things that I had to get off, my chest.
Get it off then.
So, if you guys are following us on social media, if y'all not, follow us on social media on Instagram. Asha still, Devin still. But this Monday, my husband made a public declaration that he was on his weight loss journey, right? He made this fire video, okay? Mind you, I said, this looked like a little production video. Like, you got a whole team. So he made a video of his weight loss journey for his Monday weigh-ins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every Monday, holding himself accountable on his weight loss journey, sharing it with y'all, weighing himself, right? So I juggle with the idea of if I wanted to be that vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and we had this conversation as well, women sharing their weight and their weight loss and being in that space is a very vulnerable space. Like, it's not as easy for women to do as men, right? But I felt
you think it's easy for men?
I mean, I don't know if it's easy for men, but I feel like
men be in the pool with their t-shirt on?
That's
ain't
true.
Easy.
It just comes off, I guess, easy, but that's just not us not knowing. But it seems to be easier for men than women. And so I was just like juggling with the idea a little bit in my head. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to expose myself, be vulnerable, put myself out there, because in all honesty, if y'all haven't followed me from before, when I had started my weight loss journey after I had Aria, I had got a lot of feedback throughout the pregnancy, because I was working out throughout the pregnancy. And then afterward, when I was showing, what I'm eating and the workouts that we were doing, me and my husband that we was doing together, a lot of people was like, dang, like, I wish that I had someone to hold me accountable throughout my pregnancy journey, or even after the fact, postpartum, because it's a lot. Right. And so I was just weighing with the idea, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Right. Because if not for no one else, for me, it will hold me accountable, because if I put myself out there to say, okay, this is what it is. If y'all come back a month, 2 months later, and y'all like,
it's still that,
not only is it still that, but where's the updates? Like, what's going on? Like, I feel like y'all will hold me accountable. Y'all would check in, and I'm like, okay, this is what I need. Right.
Yeah.
But not only that, it was just to be able to show someone else out there, or show another woman out there that may be in the same predicament that I'm in. Like, you can do it too. You can get to that spot. It's going to be hard work. It's going to take dedication, but you can reach your goals. And that's really important for me. One, because this pregnancy, I told y'all so many times, this pregnancy and postpartum has been so much harder with Amaya.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, even after the fact, when I had Aria and I started breastfeeding, the baby weight seemed like it just melted off. Okay.
Right.
It was just going. They like, oh, breastfeed, it helps you, lose weight fast, this, that, and the third. That is not the case. Okay. Right. It's not the case. And I realized that I'm older. I'm closer to my mid-30s than I was before. My metabolism's probably not the same. Eating habits wasn't the same. So it's a lot of factors, but it hasn't been easy all around as compared to it was. So it's like, this is more of a challenge for me, but I want to be able to show other women that's out there struggling. Like, if you have the same issues that I'm having, the same struggles that I'm having, like, we can reach these goals together and know that we can do it. So yeah, I had to get that out there. I had to keep it real with y'all, because a lot of people probably, and I saw one comment that said, wow, like, it's amazing that you were so vulnerable to put that out there, right?
I didn't think you was gonna do it.
Honestly,
when you
I
showed
didn't
me you
either.
did, I said, "Oh, she not playing."
And that comment right there, just, it solidified it for me, because it was just like I said, it's hard to really expose yourself in certain lights that you may feel like that you want to hide in a sense from the world, right? You want to show the grand finale picture, of course, like, oh, this is what I was before and look at me now. And that's what I feel like a lot of people do. Like they'll show you the before and after once they get to the after, right? Yeah. But I think it's important to show the journey because it's just like, it's going to be times where you're going to wake up and you're going to want to get back to your old habits. You're going to want to eat what you want to eat, or you want to not want to work out, or you may be doing the same thing and you might just have a block in the road and now you got to switch things up. And so I think it's important to show that journey so people can know, like, you know, it's not just about the destination when you arrive. It's about the journey before you get to the destination. So
I think you're about to start developing the, what is it, IDGAF button like me.
What is that?
I don't give a... Because I don't be caring. Like, sometimes you be asking me, oh, you really going to put that out? You really going to talk about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yo, I don't know when I developed this. I think I developed this in like college or something, but I really don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm going to live in my truth. Mm-hmm. I don't really care what people have to say about it because it's not their life. And most people are living a fake life to appease other people.
Right.
Me, I'm not like that. If I want to say something, if I want to wear something, if I want to do something, if I want to put something out there, I'm going to do it. And I'm starting to see that rub off on you. And I love that for you. I love it for you. Because we can just be an IDGAF couple.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, I think that's is necessary. Because I feel like nowadays with social media, people get so used to being stuck in a box, right? Yeah. And having to be so consumed about what other people are going to think about them.
Upholding a certain image.
And it's just like, it's too much.
Yeah.
It becomes too much. So I feel like when you do have that mentality where it's just like, I'm going to live my life for me and not be worried about what someone else thinks about me, I think it's a beautiful thing. And it's a breath of fresh air. So
I think that's why this podcast does so well.
Yeah.
Because we took an approach. I be seeing y'all copycats out here now though, but we're not going to speak on it. But we took the type of approach where it's like, we just going to put our vulnerabilities out there. Mm-hmm. We're not going to hide or sugarcoat the stuff that we've been through and the stuff that we're experiencing right now, because I think that true transformation happens when people are transparent. So our transparency is going to lead to y'all transformation. And I love y'all as a community, but I don't really care about what y'all think about our relationship. Long as it's working for us and we're growing and we're getting better each and every day, I'm not worried about who has something to say about the things that have transpired in the past. Because even when you see things on social media, for the most part, it's a lot of good feedback, a lot of positive comments, but it's some people out there that, you know, take their shots, say negative things. And it's like, if y'all really understood how much I don't care. Like sometimes people, when they be seeing me comment, if I comment back to somebody, people be like, oh, don't give them attention. Don't let them get you mad. I literally be sitting next to you laughing. Like I promise you, I'm not mad. I think it's very entertaining. Like my life is so stressful that sometimes I need that entertainment from y'all who act like y'all ain't got no sense. But I think that has been our competitive edge, our competitive advantage, the fact that we are transparent in everything that we do. But I also want to touch on something that you said earlier, because you think that only losing the weight is going to inspire people. But I think that you allowing yourself to just relax after having a baby is going to be inspiring to people. Because I think on social media, people are just infatuated with this snapback.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you have a baby, you going to the gym. As soon as you get discharged from the hospital.
Yeah.
Or you going to Miami or Cuba or somewhere to get some work done. But when you bring another human into this world, I don't think you should be pressured to hurry up and get back in shape. So the fact that you allow yourself to recover and now you're saying, okay, it's time, then I think that that's going to inspire a lot of people to take time for you when you have a baby. But then when it's time, get back to work.
Yeah, I think it's definitely and I feel like I don't want to just keep saying social media plays a part in so much of it, but it does, because nowadays, and I feel like this ties into the topic of today, but it ties into like how a lot of people see themselves. Like you compare and contrast so much, and it's like you feel like, oh, this person over here is doing this, so I gotta do it. Or this is what the wave is. This is what
have you seen that
supposed to happen.
Have you been through that yourself, where you've seen people who have a child and then they right back to getting in the gym?
I mean, I feel like I've seen both, but to me, it was like I said, I've shared before on previous podcasts about my journey with this pregnancy, and it just being difficult even from the beginning, like having to go to the hospital because I was so sick, being so nauseous, having to deal with HG.
Yeah, you lost mad weight
and like doing all of that stuff. Like I did not enjoy this pregnancy, like at all. I didn't work
getting
out.
Pregnant, but
I love
the conceiving part.
I can't. But I did not enjoy it. Like I see some women that are able to, just really enjoy being pregnant. Not even just the eating part, but just like really embrace it. And I feel like because I was so sick, it was just like, oh, I'm just ready for her to come. Like I'm ready for me to just have her. And that was hard. But I feel like because I wasn't able to, do the things that I wanted to do, I wasn't able to enjoy life like I indulged, right? Yeah. And it was just like, okay, this is what we're doing. And I
indulge with you because men always gain weight when the women get pregnant and gain weight.
But it's okay. Like I said, it's okay. I had my moment, and I was like, even to myself thinking like how a lot of people say, but this is really true. Like it's not a sprint, right? Right. And so for me to think that, and it's what a lot of people do, you think that, oh, you have to get right back to it. And then once you get right back to it, it's like you're dieting and you're doing things to hurry up and snap back. Yeah. And most of the times it's not sustainable because you're just getting that quick fix. It's not like the lifestyle change, which is going to help you overall by you eating differently, by you creating healthier habits. And so if that's what I was looking for,
influencer over there,
I'm just saying, if that's what I was looking for, it wasn't going to work. So I allowed myself to really, not like I was doing it intentionally, but I allowed myself to have that moment where I was able to enjoy life and enjoy just postpartum. Because when you get, and this seemed like a whole nother podcast, but when you get into
the postpartum this is your podcast, aspect, you can talk about what you want.
The postpartum aspect of having a baby, that's a lot as well. Like people, it's like the 4th trimester. And so it's like you're trying to get your mind back on a regular schedule, your hormones back, and it takes a lot for you to get back to your normal balanced self after having a baby. So trying to put the stress of, oh, I have to go work out, or I have to eat like this, or I have to do that. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm eating and I'm healthy and I'm good because I'm trying to produce milk for my baby because she's living off of me, right? I'm her life support in a sense. Like I'm the only way that she's getting nourishment because that's all she has is my breast milk. And so it was just like me stressing myself out, thinking if I'm going to meet enough calories or going to work out, it was just too much, right? But now as we're further along down the line, and she's pretty much almost 6 months, it's just like, okay, now we're introducing more solids. She's not solely getting her nutrients and dependency off of me. I can start to implement things so that I can start to work back to where I want to be and reach my goals. And so I just advise any women that's going through that now, like just take the baby steps. Don't put too much pressure on yourself because it's not about how you look. It's about how you feel, right? The healthy lifestyle is not about, oh, I'm just snatched and I look good. It's about how you feel on the inside. If you're healthy on the inside, if your mind is healthy. And so I think when you take that approach that you're thinking about all of that, not just the physical aspect of what you look like, then you'll be good in the long run.
I think we can end the podcast there. I mean, what else do we need to talk about?
Listen, we need to talk about today's topic, okay?
What is today's topic?
So, you guys, we are talking about the dating crisis, okay?
It is
how hard it is to date nowadays, okay? And it's not for us, okay?
Right.
We didn't experience this.
Right.
We were back in the where we didn't have to worry about it. Yeah, a decade, okay? And it's funny because when we were looking at this, the research was talking about how a decade ago, how much harder it is now compared to then to date.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like you said earlier in this podcast, we have family and friends that are out here dating and they say how much of a struggle it is.
Yeah.
Most of our family, well, who we're talking about, live here in Houston. Mm-hmm. And they say Houston is absolutely terrible when it comes to the dating pool. So we decided that we wanted to do an episode that's dedicated to this, to talk about the dating challenges, what the research is saying, and why people are having such a hard time dating, and then offer some solutions, because somebody somewhere needs to do something about this. But like you said, when you do look at the research, nearly half of all Americans who are in the dating pool right now say that it's harder to date now than it was 10 years ago. 19% say it's easier and 33% say it's the same. Where are y'all living? Those 33% of y'all? Or no, and the 19%, how much is that in total? 52? Something like that. How many, where do y'all live at? Where y'all are saying that it's either easier or the same? Because what we're hearing from anecdotal evidence from talking to people, they say it's terrible.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of things have happened over this past decade that has really made a shift. Because out of the 50% or 47% of Americans who say it's harder, women attribute those challenges to the physical and emotional risks that comes with dating, while men blame it on technology.
Yeah, I think it's really true, because for me, I feel like the biggest thing I can say from the experience that I have from talking to individuals and seeing things is how technology has shifted the dating scene, in a sense. And like you were saying, a lot of things that have happened, whether it be, the biggest thing I think was with the pandemic, how so much of the world was just stripped away from interacting with other individuals. Yeah. And that caused a huge frenzy, right?
You know, I think social media is definitely a challenge, the dating apps, because it wasn't as prevalent as it was back then as it is now. I think most people right now, they're used to using dating apps instead of going out there and actually meeting people.
Right.
And I think there's there's benefits of it. There's pros and cons. In a dating app, you have access to more people. You get to meet people from different parts of the world, different parts of the country. But also that amount of choice also causes a struggle for humans in general. It's called the paradox of choice, where the more choices we have doesn't necessarily mean it's the best for us. And there was this, when I was in school, getting in school for psychology, we had a guest speaker named Barry Schwartz who wrote a book called The Paradox of Choice. And he has a quote that I think speaks to what having so many choices on dating apps cause frustration for people. He said that learning to choose is hard. Learning to choose well is harder. And learning to choose well in a world of unlimited possibilities is harder still, perhaps too hard. On these dating apps, you have a big pool of people, and it's hard to choose the right person because it makes it so confusing having to go through all those type of choices that you just end up selecting whoever.
So it's not always, it's better that people saying it's more efficient to see.
Yeah, I mean,
now,
because the other way, as we talked about in other episodes, that access to other people gets a lot of people in trouble. Whether you're single or whether you're in a relationship, because now you have access to people. You see a picture, you can like it, you can DM somebody. So there's a lot of different pros and cons to it. And it also makes interactions with people impersonal.
Yeah. So I want to sit on that a little bit, because I feel like there's so many ways that we can dive into just the negative aspect of
dating pools. I get it. You ain't do that on purpose.
The aspect of social media and the internet and all of that, dating apps having a negative impact on dating, right? And so I think, like you were saying, the personal interaction that you have with people has shifted, right? Even with, you see, like with work nowadays, a lot of people were working remote and having to go back and have to engage after being out of work for so long. It's difficult to now interact, right? And even not only is it difficult, some people are not really good at it in a sense. Like they're not trying to do it. Yeah,
they're
not
weird.
Trying to really
I think that's
interact.
The word you were searching for. They're weird. They're socially awkward.
Yes, it's very awkward. And so I think that is a huge challenge to overcome, is how to go out and really engage with people. Because we're so used to having to engage on social media, whereas you're just DMing and you're saying certain things.
You can hide behind the screen.
Right. You can hide, you can type whatever and whoever you want to be. I think the biggest the biggest, I don't even know how to say it. Catfish. I don't know. I didn't know how to introduce it, but I think the biggest like introduction of how dating and dating apps and all of that, the internet exposed us to some very weird stuff was catfish. And it's crazy to me because so many people are dealing with that. And it's just like the impersonal, the awkwardness, the I can be whoever I want to be. It's very challenging to navigate.
And you can't build any meaningful connection. Well, I won't say you can't, because somebody be like, well, I have somebody who met somebody online. They've been together 57 years. So when I say you can't, I don't mean it's absolute. It's very hard to build meaningful connections online because only 7% of meaning is communicated through what we say, what we write. 38% is through tone of voice, which you're not getting writing on social media or on a dating app. And 55% is through body language. So it's hard for you to build true meaning and deep connections online. But even still, 300 million people have dating apps on their phone. And and researchers are predicting by 2035 that most people will find their partner on dating apps. So I think that it's only going to get worse. People are going to get even more socially awkward, and they're not going to really be able to build connection. But this is just the way that the world is going right now. And I couldn't imagine having to be in this.
Yeah. I think I was having several conversations with friends of mine and relatives of mine, and they were saying how because of that, there's a lack of substance when conversing on these dates, right? It's like very surface level.
And they was probably talking that talk online. They was talking real smooth, and then they get in person and just be choked up. It
becomes awkward, and you can no longer hide behind the screen, right? It's like we're now in front of each other. Now we have to really engage, and I think that's a huge setback because before, when you met someone, you'll see them. Just like even with us, you meet somebody out, hi, how are you doing? I was interested. Can I have your number? You have to talk. And I said that to you as well. Like nowadays, people don't really talk on the phone. No. Right? You're either
talk all night,
writing on social media, or you're text messaging, and you're not really connecting with that person. Like you said, is your tone of voice. You're not having that deep conversation because you're on the phone. What are you going to sit there? Right? So we're on the phone. We're having deep conversations. We used to fall asleep on the phone, right?
We did.
I don't think y'all know about that. Y'all falling asleep on FaceTime?
And I realized how much you snore and drool because it was on Skype. You used to want me to put my laptop on the pillow next to me. Listen, and then you would do the same. You was on some weird stuff, but I thought it was cute.
No, it was cute.
It was cute. It was cute.
Yes. But I'm saying, like, nowadays, you don't have, a lot of people aren't having that interaction and that connection with people. Right. And then that's causing for when you do try to go out and have conversations, I feel like it's more forced.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then when you look at the research as well, not only has technology has changed things, because you have to look at the landscape over the past decade. Like, what major things have happened in the world that has made this shift? And one of the things that they were talking about was the Me Too movement. It's interesting because 65% of women who are in the dating pool right now say that they have experienced some type of harassing behavior on their dates, whether it was inappropriate touching, being touched in a way that they didn't feel comfortable being touched, or just rumors being spread about their sexual history. But it also showed that 65% of men feel like that the increased focus on sexual harassment and assault has made it harder to converse and interact with women when they go out on dates because they don't know where the boundary is. So I think that whole shift has really caused, I think, some friction between men and women as far as what is the proper way to interact with each other when you're trying to get to know somebody.
Yeah. We had a conversation about this as well. And it was interesting to me because I can see that shift and how it unfolded over the past few years with social media, right? One being, and we talked about this as well, I feel like we are more sexualized on social media. We show more, we expose more, you see more, even with, celebrities and everything like that, right? Versus what men had seen previously, right? Yeah. So you didn't see so many women in a certain light. You didn't see so many women, period, probably, as you do now with social media. Yeah. And I think because of that, a lot of men cross boundaries or may think that, they can do something that's completely inappropriate. And I was saying to you, even with the example, and I don't know the guy's name, but the
YK Osiris or something,
whoever that is.
Yeah.
But with the woman Suki, when they was having an interview, and you can see that clearly exhibited because of that. And I feel like that's a huge issue because men may view like, if I see a woman dressing sexy, or if I see her acting in a certain manner, or whatever the case may be, or saying things, then that gives you the opportunity to cross certain boundaries because you may think that, it's acceptable, or they like it. Right. And I see how that comes into play that, I didn't know, but it's like, it's never okay to cross someone's lines. Yeah. Regardless of what you think, don't act. Yeah. Right. And so I think that's a huge issue because aside from that, and now that's not the case for everybody, but you have a lot of people with that. And that example came to my mind immediately when I saw that, because it's like, you see someone, you see if she's dressed a certain way, if she presents herself in a certain manner, or she talks about certain things, she gonna like if I do this. But it's like, no, like, don't cross those boundaries. And so I think that's an issue where it's like, we have to understand and go backwards. If we got to go back to before, how we handle things is to understand, respect people's boundaries all around, regardless of what you think or what they're showing or what they're exhibiting, that line should never be crossed. And so I think that's completely what was shown was an example of what a lot of people are dealing with.
Yeah. I think what you said, I think the internet has definitely made this problem more prevalent. Yeah. I think men have been doing this for a while and it's been wrong. Social media, cameras expose it. Women are getting more confident coming out and speaking about it. But I think I was reading some studies about how men are not supposed to, or the human brain is not supposed to see as many naked people as it's been seeing recently. We have to do something to limit the access in which boys, or who one day turn into men, have availability or access to this type of stuff being programmed in their brains. And then at a certain point, men have to find better ways to communicate, because they may see that type of behavior and be like, oh man, she's on go, or I can try this with her because she gives off this type of energy, or she gives off of this type of persona. But I don't think that there's a clear communication between the two parties of what line is okay to cross and what line is not. So I think that social media, I think that the internet is causing a lot of problems. I think that the patriarchy from back in the day is causing a lot of issues, that a lot of things have to be rewired and reworked, and we have to learn how to live amongst each other and treat each other with respect, because I feel like that's lost in today's society.
Yeah. I think another factor of that, with the safety being a huge thing for women during dating nowadays with the internet, as well as like, you're exposed to so many different people, right?
Yeah.
Whereas before, if you're just dating in your community or dating people that you're exposed to at work or school or whatever the case may be, it's more so likely that it's people that you know or people that know someone that you know like that, right? Versus, like I said, the pool is wide. It's not even a pool, it's an ocean, right? It's so many people that you're exposed to, and so you don't know people's intentions. You don't know who people truly are. So now you are encountering people who may be violent or may have a certain mentality and, you know, doing things to reel you in only to bring harm to you, right? And so
there's predators out here.
Absolutely. And so I think that's a huge factor when it comes into dating nowadays and safety as well, from looking from the research, is that people are being exposed to people who are predators and who are not portraying who they truly are on social media. Like we said, you're putting up a fake persona of who you are, and then someone meets you and then they get to know you and it's someone completely different. And I think that it's I don't want to just say the internet is just so negative, but it exposes a lot of negativity. It makes you susceptible to a lot of negativity.
Yeah. And even in terms of the internet, I think there's a lot of falsehoods put out there.
Yeah.
And I think that, and I'm just going to speak for men, that a lot of women are expecting the world on the first date. Like social media makes it seem like if y'all meet, y'all first date has to be in Paris. That you got to fly first class, drink champagne on your way over to Paris. So a lot of women are expecting you to go spend $200, $300 to take them to Steak 48 or something on the first date. And it's like, yo, that's a huge investment.
Yeah.
Like if you really out here dating, trying to get to meet people, you don't have $200-$300 to spend every weekend, 2 weekends out of the month. Like I feel like social media has made people believe that if they're not going over and beyond, then they're not the right guy for you. I saw somebody say that if you really want to impress a woman, don't just take her out on a date and take her to a restaurant, but plan the whole day. No. Why would I plan the whole day if I don't even know you? What if I don't like you after brunch? What if I don't like you after we go to the movie or something? Like, what if I don't like, I'm not planning the whole day for us. We can go out, we can take it slow. For me, I think one of the things, I think our first date, unofficial date, we went to Grotto's. We just sat down and we talked. Mind you, I was a millionaire. I just signed a $4 million contract. We went to Grotto's at the University of Delaware. We sat in a booth and we talked.
Yeah.
And then we was able to get to know each other, not through a big experience where you can say, oh, I think I like him because he took me to the Bahamas on our first date and we was chilling on the beach. Of course you're going to like me. I just took you out the country to a beach. I'm going to see you in the bathing suit. Of course I'm going to like you. But if we sitting at Grotto's and we're forced to just talk, then you get to really build those deep connections because you're not blinded by all these exterior things. I got to know you for who you are. That's how a lot of our dates went. We didn't do nothing big until we went to the Bahamas for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But up until that point, it was going to Grotto's, speaking on the phone, hanging out. You would come over to my dad's house. We would sit in the parking lot and talk in the car. Like we did simple things in the beginning, which allowed us to get to know each other. That's what stood out about you to me. Like I can really have a good time doing nothing with her. And to me, that's so important. But in today's society, like you got to be doing the most in order to keep people's attention. And then you're setting yourself up for failure in a relationship because you're not going to be able to keep that up over a long period of time. So what do you do then when those experiences run out?
Yeah, I think you brought up a great point, because to me, it's like, if you sit back and ask yourself, like, how did you meet your best friend? Right. And you go back and think about the experiences, where y'all met, what y'all went through to get to that point of being best friends. It's no glamorous, over the top story, place things that was brought It's none of that.
Commonalities.
It's the y'all probably just talking over pizza or going to a game or whatever it was, something so simple that y'all met and just had these little experiences over time that built that friendship. And it's like, what is the difference between your best friend and your potential husband, wife, life partner? Like, what is the difference? Wouldn't you think that you will still build up those experiences over time, and it'd be even more important for you to do that if this is a person that you're spending life with? And it's like, you don't put those expectations on when you're meeting this person, but you're putting expectations of that degree on someone who you don't even know. And it doesn't make any sense, because and I can tie it into the pandemic. In a blink of an eye, the world completely shifted, right? The normal that we knew before the pandemic happened in 2019 to what we're doing now is completely different. Like I said, how people perceive going to work is completely different. How people perceive going to school is completely different. So if you're just waiting for someone to come in and just sweep you off your feet and wine and dine you with all of these things, what happens when life sets in, right? Because you're not always going to be on the high. And then you come back down to reality, and what happens? You don't have that substance there. You don't have that relationship that you built with this person to really sustain a relationship, because you just was there through the highs. And so I think that's what people need to really focus on, because social media has definitely caused that shift, right? It's a compare, contrast world, right? Oh, I see this person getting this bag. I see this person getting these shoes. Oh, it's Valentine's Day. You have to have a million roses all over the house. And oh, you have to fly me to Dubai. And it's just like, let's be realistic. Like, what happened to just taking somebody? What happened to just giving someone a card and expressing how you feel? Like the simple things, the little things that matter, that show in the long run, like, this person really cares for me. It's just like, we don't have to do all this glamorous stuff for me to know that you love me or that you're interested in me. So I think that's the biggest thing when I thought about that. It's just like, I didn't have to go through all of that to have my best friend, right? I had to go through some crazy stuff, but I didn't have to go through all of that. And so it's just like, look at it from that standpoint.
I honestly feel like that was the key to us, because it's like a roller coaster. Like, we weren't always up in life. Like, we had to go through some real things. We had to pull back on a lot of stuff. Never did you complain. Never did you feel like you wasn't okay with the way that we had to make changes in our life in order to make sure that we can get back out on the top. And I don't think that a lot of women are willing to go through that because of what social media is showing them that love is. Like, love is, you got to show me how much you love me with your wallet. But then it's like, dang, if I start off doing that and I hit a rough spot in my life, are you no longer going to be with me?
Yeah.
Like, I think that is really crazy. And until you get back to the basics, like you just said, where you just going on walks with each other, you going to go get coffee, you going out to dinner. It don't got to be steak 48. It don't have to be these high priced Del Frisco's and stuff like that. It can just be our favorite, the Cheesecake Factory. And I know a lot of y'all tripping, because I be seeing online, y'all be saying Cheesecake Factory is nasty. Y'all have messed up taste buds. But you can go to simple places where you can just converse and eat.
Right.
You don't need all that extra stuff. Granted, we all like the finer things in life, but it's not a necessity in order for us to be together, in order for us to have a good time. If your connection is only based on the external experiences you have with somebody, then you don't really have a connection.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like on the flip side of that as well, because I feel like from that standpoint, a lot of times you're saying what a lot of women are expecting from men because of social media. I think a huge
Tell us about ourselves. Oh, you about to tell us about ourselves. That women were
up against, and what we were talking about, is just the lack of chivalry, right? You want to be wined and dined and romance to a certain degree, right? You want to be, and when I say wine and dine, I'm not saying like you said, like the steak 48 and all of that. It's just the
we keep throwing steak 40 out. They need to sponsor this podcast.
Okay. But I'm not even just saying like just taking me out to just these luxurious over the top 5-star places. No, like me. Just courting me and showing me that romance, showing me that interest, like making me feel special. Like
send me flowers to my job.
I'm the prize. Okay. Yeah. Like we want to feel that. And I do understand from my conversations with my ladies how that is a problem and that's a void, right? Because, and even from some of the comments, you guys, that I have seen on social media, some men feel like, oh, they don't have to do that. Why should I?
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. We ain't doing all that. Why am I going to put that much interest into you until I get to know you, right? And it's just like, okay, sir, I understand you may not want to, you know, spend all of this money, but being romantic and showing people, you know, just how interested you are in them and making them feel special is not equal to $, right?
You know what's
and
crazy?
I think what
those same men that you're talking about, I guarantee they would tell their daughters don't be with a man who don't do those things for you.
That's probably true.
That's the crazy thing. I ain't going to do it for no woman out here, but if I have a daughter, I'm going to tell her don't accept this from any other man.
And it's just like, why? Like you want to make that person feel special. So if you're, to me, it blows my mind because if you see someone that you're interested in and you want to pursue them, outside of you just seeing the physical and want to pursue them sexually, if you want to pursue them to get to know them, it's like, why wouldn't I want to put that time and effort into courting you? Why wouldn't I want to, you know, hey, you know, what are you doing today? You know, let's go meet up. And if we are going meet up, like you said, like I said, it doesn't have to equate to $1, but if we're meeting up at a park and you bring flowers and we just sit there and talk, or, oh, you know, I have to go to work in the morning. So before you go to work, let's go grab a cup of coffee. And then we have this coffee and just the little things like make me feel like you're really interested in me. Make me feel like you're trying to pursue me, that you're interested in me.
Your mind.
Like romanticize me. Like that's what I want to feel. The good morning text. Sir, don't good morning text me, call me. Like how many times I've, and this is from conversation, like I said, that I had with my friends, but it's just like how you're getting text messages sporadically. So you text me on a Monday and I don't hear from you again till Friday. Like, no, that's not showing that you're really interested in that person.
That person's probably not really interested.
Well, you know, but I'm just saying, like, call, check up, see how she's doing. Like, you don't want to just, for me personally, I don't want when we were dating to just receive a text message.
You better do past tense.
Yeah, don't text me now. But I wouldn't want to just receive a text message and not hear your voice on the phone. You not call me and check up on me. Oh, hey, how's your day going? Right.
So what did I do right to romanticize you in the beginning, and what did I do wrong?
So you was like very intentional.
I'm that guy.
Yeah, like you were very intentional. Like
I'm smooth criminal. I'm a smooth operator.
I cannot. But just calling, you know, to see how I'm doing. If it is like, if you're asking like, oh, just for example, if I'm not feeling well, I know for you, and this goes both ways. I'll speak for myself because you was doing a lot, but ladies, this goes for us too. When Devin was playing football and you had got injured, now I don't know if this really mattered to you or not, but he got injured and I couldn't necessarily fly out because I would go out there a lot for the most part, but I couldn't fly out one time. And I had sent you a like edible arrangement or something, like a get well type of thing. Now you wasn't like all like really bad injured, but I just sent it just like to say, oh, I'm thinking of you type of thing, right?
Yeah, my brother ate it. It didn't really mean that much to me. No, I'm joking.
But it's just like the little things. I feel like it goes both ways. So when you're dating someone and it's like, oh, well, you know, oh, you're having a bad day or that person's having a bad day, let me show up. Like, for example, with you, we were talking and we were supposed to see each other. We hadn't seen each other in a really long time. And
what's a really long time? Like 3 days?
No, this one.
I was about to say, because you was addicted.
Oh my goodness. We hadn't seen each other and we both had planned to go somewhere for, I believe it was for Memorial Day. And I was upset because I was like, I wasn't going to see you because I hadn't seen you in so long and I was going to see you after the trip. And now granted, this is probably extreme because a lot of people probably ain't moving like this. but it's just like you flew back to Philadelphia and surprised me at work. Because
I sat in a salon for like 3 hours.
Yeah, and he literally sat in the salon that I was working with. It was nothing but women in there, and they was just staring at him, just like looking like
that I probably shouldn't have saw.
But yes, like I said,
like
that's
Sarah
probably
Jakes out there.
That's probably extreme. But it was just things like that where it's just like, okay, I know that I wasn't going to see you, so let me just show up and surprise you, you know, because I miss you, and I want you to know that I miss you. Just little things, whatever it is that, you know, works for you, works for your partner, works for whoever you're interested in. But do the little things that make that person feel special.
Yeah. So special. So special. So special. Special. You were definitely, or you are special to me. So let's talk about, because the research that we were talking about earlier, in case people want to look it up, is from a Pew Research study in 2019. But they also surveyed people on things that they did not want in a partner or in a relationship. So the top 5 things that people do not want in a partner or a relationship is, number 1, they do not want a long distance relationship, which is interesting to me. Like, I get that, but I know that ours started off as a long distance relationship. And I think that if more people knew how to have a long distance relationship with somebody with the ultimate goal of coming together within a certain time frame, I think that a lot of relationships can happen out of a long distance relationship.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we, without even having like knowledge of, I would say, or resources of how to make it work, we were doing things that could make it work. You know what I mean? I think that's important for people to really research how to make sure that if you do have a long distance relationship, how it can last. But like you said, with the end goal of us eventually being together.
Yeah. The second one is they don't want a person who has a significant amount of debt. And I think that, and this is me generalizing, but I think that a lot of men answer that question.
What?
That they don't want a partner who has a significant amount of debt.
Because they don't want to take it on.
Because I think most women come into relationships with more debt than men. Again, I don't have the research behind this, the stats, but this is my assumption, because what I do know the data on is more women are getting college degrees than men, and they're using student loans to do that. So getting into a relationship, you're bringing that student loan debt into the relationship. So that's where I'm making an assumption that probably more men made that comment, especially if women are expecting men to be the financial providers for a relationship.
That's an interesting take. I think that's the case. I feel like, I mean, when we talked with Jade, and she provided us information about how both of her and her husband had debt going into their relationship. And it was the complete opposite. He had more financial debt as far as their schooling than she had. And so I think that does school and the financial aid of it and the debt that comes with going to school plays a huge factor in a lot of people's lives, whether it be whatever partner it is that's bringing in that debt. I can definitely see that. I think the biggest thing about this, and what we talked about as well, was having a conversation about how you're going to manage that debt and how you see that.
Revealing the debt, period. Because a lot of people be hiding it.
Absolutely. Revealing it, but how you're going to manage it, whether it be you as an individual or if y'all going to go through and try to figure this out together. Now, granted, I think the whole going in, trying to figure it out together thing matters if you're married. Like, if you're dating, we not managing each other's debt. Let's get it together, you know.
But I want to see how you manage yours, though.
Yes.
Like, I want us to be free and open to talk about the debt that we have. And like you said, we not sharing that debt if we're not married. But I want to see how you're managing your debt. You got student loans. I want to see that you making payments on your student loans.
Yeah.
I want to see your balances on your credit card. Is you like overspending? Like, how do you manage your money that way? Okay, because most Americans have debt. So if I see that you have good money management skills and you're financially literate, then we can come together and make this work.
Yeah.
But if I'm having to teach you from ground zero, or if I have to start back at square one with you and you don't really know too much about managing money, we can't really work on that day.
But I think that's an issue as well, because I feel like so many people, and we spoke about this with the conversation with Jade as well, so many people are not getting the knowledge and the guidance when it comes to managing debt, right?
You mean to tell me that the foundation of a relationship is successful application of knowledge?
I can't with you.
Okay, nah, go ahead.
So many people aren't getting that knowledge, right? So when it comes to you having debt and you trying to manage it as well, and you're going into a relationship, you don't know because you weren't taught that, right? And so we're getting into relationships and not knowing how to manage our debt, not knowing how, not even just managing our debt, but knowing how to, like we said, be in a relationship, the responsibilities that come as an adult, because a lot of people don't have that outline and aren't guided in that way. So I think when you do have someone that maybe they don't know, being able to provide them those resources, and like you said, oh, I want to see how you're able to manage this, and we can work together. Like if you're willing to learn and be taught how to do that, we absolutely can work together and work through this. Like I said, your debt is your debt, my debt is my debt, but we can manage it separately, but together we can help each other out and get to that point. And I can see that growth because, like you said, pretty much everyone has debt. So when we get into a marriage, we're going to have debt. But if I'm able to see how you were able to manage it before then we know how to go in and better manage it when we're in a marriage. So,
ladies and gentlemen, I retract my statement. I think you're right. If we come together and I can see that you're eager and you're willing to learn about finances, because you're right, most people weren't taught about finances and how to manage money, how to save money, how to invest money. So if I see that you are willing to learn, then we can definitely make it work. I won't say that I got to scratch you off. Thank you for clarifying. I retract my statement. The third one was interesting, is that they don't want somebody who voted for Trump. Interesting.
You got your own personal
I'm going to leave that up to y'all.
Use.
The fourth one is they don't want a 10 years age gap, whether that's 10 years older or 10 years younger, which that makes sense to me because a decade, that's a long time.
It is.
That's a big difference. Y'all grew up in different times in the world, and it's hard to relate to somebody who is 10 years younger or older than you.
Yeah. When I was 1, you was 11. We had nothing in common.
And we still don't. And if we do, you're childish.
No. I think it depends. To be honest, I feel like when you are a little bit older, more seasoned, I guess, I feel like it's probably easier than when you're younger. I feel like when you're in your younger age, maybe your 20s and your early 30s, I feel like dating someone who's like 10 plus years older, it may be a little bit challenging because now I'm in my prime of wanting to go out, wanting to live my life, enjoy the world. I want to do certain things, where you're more so probably at a stage where you're looking to settle down. You're looking to, build a family. You don't want to do that so much. You already been there. So I think it's the season that you're in life that really determines that. But like you said, I would want to have someone that we have things in common with, right? I think it's amazing that we share the same birthday, same year, because we're literally growing old together. Like we're the same age. We're experiencing life together every year from the same point, right? And I think that's really special to me because like I said, like we have so many common things in common, similarities because of that. So I wouldn't necessarily want to experience someone, definitely not now, but even before, someone that was 10 plus years older than me.
Tell you everything to expect in life.
Yeah,
don't
like,
do that.
No, I want to be able to, right? Are you my parent or my man? So I don't know. Yeah, I think that it depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah. And the last one is what you told me, but I was just so charming that you couldn't resist, is they don't want somebody that has children from a previous relationship. I know at a certain point you was like, man, I should have stuck to what I said. I was never going to get in a relationship with somebody with children because it's too much drama. But you did, and we worked through that drama together.
Lord.
DJ Drama.
No, listen. So I want to touch on this, to be honest, because I feel like this was something that I had at the top of the list, if not number one. I just let y'all
know how strong my game is, or was. I don't have
if
game
not number one, that I did not want to experience that. One, because I had experienced that from seeing it in my own personal life, right? How it impacted family dynamics, for whether it was me personally with my parents or with cousins, relatives around me, right? How the blended family didn't really blend, and how much of a challenge it was, right? And so I didn't want to experience that for myself. Even in getting into a relationship with you and experiencing that, I still had a negative experience with it, right? Because it wasn't blending. And it was so much toxicity in the beginning, right? And so I was like a huge advocate. Anytime a friend or relative be like talking about it, I'm like, run for the hills. Like, don't do it immediately. No, like, don't do it. No.
Does that make me king of the hill? Because if you ran from the hill, ran to the top of the hill, and I was on the top of the hill because we still together, does that make me king of the hill?
If that's what you want to say.
That's what I want to say.
Okay. But no, I honestly feel like when it comes to that, I understand it. And I say this to anyone listening, whether it be male or female, I really do advise you, if you can, to date someone who doesn't have children, if you're not in a position to really take on that responsibility, or you don't understand what it comes with, right? Because it's challenging. And I'm not even saying it from the aspect of it just being negative things, but when you have to build a family with someone and you start to have your own kids and you see the shift and the change of trying to raise a child that's not living in your house or not around you all the time, it's challenging. Right? It's hard to navigate, whether you have a great relationship, all the parents, or whether y'all all on the same page. It's always going to be some type of hurdle or challenge that you have to overcome, because it's completely different households, completely different sets of families. And so
values, rules,
all of that. And so if you're not really willing to take on all of that responsibility that comes with it, absolutely don't do it, because it's a lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a lie. But on the flip side of that as well, it can be a beautiful thing, because to me, I feel like when you're able to have so many different people, whether it be just your biological parents or not, love on you and support you and appreciate you, you can receive so many different perspectives from people, right? And I think that's the biggest takeaway from it, is like, okay, when I don't have my mom here, or I don't have my dad here, or if I'm over here and I have a plethora of cousins over here, because I don't really have that many cousins on, this side of my family, it's like you're getting an abundance of love from people and support from people. So I think that's a beautiful thing, but you have to be able to navigate those storms and really understand what's coming with that, because like I said, it's not an easy thing.
No, I agree. Like I say on this podcast all the time, it is our biggest challenge, but it is possible when you have successful application of knowledge. Now that we're knowledgeable on the challenges that come with the blended family, and we know the effective interventions to help you navigate those challenges, we are able to do the work to make what they call it a smart step family. You know what I mean? So if you can avoid it, because it's a lot of challenges. But if you're willing to do the work to learn how to do it, then it can be a beautiful thing.
Yes, for sure. So
any last words about this?
Listen, we know it's a whole nother, list of things. This could go on for hours, to be honest. But I think that's the amazing thing about it, is that we can have an open dialogue about it. So whether it be us having another episode, or maybe in the near future
we're gonna bring people on our lives,
bring back the lives to talk about it and really discuss those challenges, because like I said, so this conversation is constantly brought up with us. Like we're always talking about this with our friends, with our family members. So I think it would be a great episode, or not a great episode, but a great discussion to continue in the near future. So
yeah, I'm ready to wrap it up.
Yes, you guys. So we hope you enjoyed this
Magnum
episode.
I ain't used one of those
and
in a long
until
time.
next time, you guys, keep it real.
Yes, sir.